Today on the American Truck Podcast, Nintendo drops information on the upcoming Switch console. The Planet Coaster beta begins soon. Voice chat is now part of Battle.net, and GTA Online players are getting $250,000 for the 3-year anniversary. Hello and welcome to the American Truck Podcast with Andrew C.
And Jefferson B.
And I just woke up. Ugh. Freelance gamer. Hi.
Way to go.
I'm sorry.
How could you be asleep with all of this
So
exciting
I fell
gaming
asleep
news?
until I heard you start talking.
Oh, well that's good.
How could you stay asleep though? We have so much exciting news to tell the people about today.
Oh yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good things happening in the world.
This is true. It is a good day to be a gamer.
Some kind of like Nintendo thingy. I don't know.
Yep. And the wise words of a Scottish man I once knew. It's a great day for America, folks.
Yes, he was a fine Scottish man while he had a talk show.
Yep. It's also a great day for Nintendo players, especially with the release of what was known as the NX, that is now the Switch.
Which, that was a bit of a switch.
It was indeed a bit of a switch up on us, but it is kind of... It's funny because this came out of initial patent stalking that had been done over some of Nintendo's concepts. And so we've got finally one of what I would call the first hybrid TV portable console, at least in my lifetime.
I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I have not seen something that functions quite like this in the past.
It's definitely innovative. We're looking at... There's a custom Tegra chip architecture that's going to be running underneath this, and every demo right now is at least hyping console quality graphics based on what seems to be, for now, I would consider an economy of accessories. So you'll have the NX dock for your TV and the NX controller dock for when you want to lean back on your couch and have that nice lean back experience. We're going to see...
It's a bit of accessory DLC.
Yeah, but I don't think that's necessarily a problem, because at least with the hardware DLC, I can touch it.
Right.
You know? It's not just an unlock code. What I'm most interested in, and I think this is one of the reasons why the NX, the now Switch, is going to be so innovative, is because it comes with 2 controllers built in. And allow me to explain, because we'll have one controller on either side of this tablet that will detach and operate roughly the same, and at least for me it feels inspired by the classic NES-style controller, with, I think, 1 shoulder button, maybe 2 shoulder buttons, it looks like, on the either the left or the right side, depending on how you hold it.
Yeah, they look really funky, though.
Yeah, it looked like it fit in the hand a little bit differently, but at the same time,
it
didn't...
a little small, right?
Yeah, it did look a little small, but it didn't look as if it would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, it probably
So-
it all depends probably on how big your hands
And
are.
maybe I will be able to get my Nintendo Switch single controller dock. That'll give me some wings to grab onto and such. Somebody's gonna, if not Nintendo, some other third party will most likely come out with something like that and include things like.
And I did see they have a connector brick that you can put 2 together.
I did see that. That's the control. It's not the Pro controller, but that is the controller accessory at this point. We don't have
basically you put the two Joy-Con pieces from either side of the Switch onto this little brick, and it connects the 2 together to make a bigger controller.
Right. And I noticed
And then
in some of the production photos, there is these contact pads. So I think rather than just being wireless controllers that happen to slide on the side, we're actually going to be seeing some genuine two-way communication, or possibly power sharing even, going on between the Joy-Con, the tablet, and whatever accessory that you attach with it. So battery packs, I could see, if Pokemon Go is to be any indication, battery pack markets are going to see another surge with this product.
Do you remember the Game Boy Colors that people had, like the speakers, the handle grip, the zoom box?
Dude, I was thinking about that actually, because I
Yeah.
was watching some older videos of people who are unboxing those accessory packs, and I remember because
feel
I
like
owned
we're
one of
going to have
those.
that happen again.
Oh yeah, oh, it's gonna be great.
I feel like we're slowly going to degrade. I'm not saying this is a bad thing necessarily, but we're slowly going to have a Switch controller or Switch unit that's just going to become this massive thing that's just like intense to hold.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's an economy of choice at that point. So
No, it is absolutely, but it will depend on the primary point of this is battery life.
absolutely, couldn't agree with
Yep.
you more.
If the battery life is great, then we don't need to have an extra battery pack.
If the battery life is
Sorry.
great, I actually have a reason to purchase this thing when it debuts in March of 2017.
Exactly. The battery life is meh. You're probably gonna buy it. You're probably gonna see battery pack accessories exist to charge the system better, or to keep it charged longer. And then it's like, wait, so now we've just added more weight to this thing, and now it's going to add more accessories, which require us to add more battery. Oh dear God!
Yeah,
Soon I will be
Yeah.
carrying my desktop.
it eventually becomes a turtles all the way down kind of concept, which
Little
is a bit rough. But I am hopeful. I want this to be good, mostly because after seeing the video when the video dropped on that screen, what would have been last week our time, like I knew instantly this was going to be a game changer. Even if for the worse, it's going to. My hope is that this pulls another Wii, like when the original Wii came out and everybody had to have it.
Right. Not like the Wii U that no one wanted because it had one controller with a touchscreen and everyone else got this.
It rises and falls. Nintendo 64, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Wii U, Nintendo Switch.
GameCube wasn't really that bad.
GameCube was pretty legit.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it was bad. I'm not saying the Wii U was bad. I'm just talking about sales in general. When you compare the
Sales of the GameCube that
It
bad?
was the same
They
as
were-
sales of the GameCube worldwide was excellent. US was shit. But
yeah, that's the thing.
Oh.
if you're looking at a worldwide market, no, yeah, they've been pretty consistent with all their systems.
This
I
is
mean,
true.
That's the thing is their market isn't necessarily the US market with these things.
Right.
It's like Sony. They're more a worldwide market than they are a local.
Definitely. What I am curious though is, is the Switch now, like we're not seeing a successor to the 3DS show up. Is this
Uh-oh.
a true merge? I
I mean,
know,
it
right?
does use
That's-
cartridges.
It's cause for concern.
Which I love as the callback. I think that's great.
I love the card. And what I don't know if you noticed, they're thick. Like they're not these little thin plastic SD cards. Like they have heft to them. These are cartridges like we know them. Probably capable of storing upwards of, a couple, like 10, 20 gigs maybe.
Could be. No reason that they couldn't.
Right. I mean, we just saw SanDisk debut their 1 terabyte SD card. So,
Which is crazy.
if anything, that just shows how cheap memory is getting, which means we have more accessibility for opening up those spaces for game developers.
Right. Which, speaking of which, there is a large quantity of developers who are saying they're going to be on board with this. 48 developers currently, at least at the time I wrote this down.
I think it's best to clarify that's 48 developers and other
publishers.
companies. Yeah, and other companies and publishers, because Unity is on board with this. Unity doesn't necessarily publish games, but they basically publish about half of the gaming market right now.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a big quantity of people involved here. Some of the interesting ones were Activision, Bethesda, EA, Sega, Square Enix, Take-Two, Telltale, Ubisoft. All.
Did you notice Skyrim Remastered was one of the most prominent games that were on those screens?
I did not notice that.
Yep, there was Skyrim
Okay.
Remastered as well as NBA 2K17, a level from Super Mario 3D World that no one's ever seen before, which is a little bit interesting, and we're not sure if that was simply a tech demo or is this meaning we're getting a new Mario title, which we eventually might. I just don't know if it's going to be this close to launch. We might see the
Right.
new Mario title come more the October-y, maybe September-y, E3-y, kind of time.
Right. Could be.
I'm not sure. I know that right now I am keeping as many tabs as humanly possible on this thing right now because that falls right around when my birthday happens, and I would love if everything checks out, I would day one this console.
Caution the hype bike.
Absolutely, but it's Nintendo.
Yeah.
They haven't-
Don't throw a stick into the front wheel.
Totally, but this is the company that when the original DS would not survive a fall from a front chest pocket and instead could only survive a fall from a side pants pocket, was completely redesigned. So we have good faith that this company is going to do us right. They haven't. If this is to be believed that this is a handheld, their handheld development team does good.
I mean, it definitely is a handheld because it has
Because it's something that's in your hand.
controllers that slap to the side and
This is
a
true.
dock for a TV. But
Yeah.
the biggest thing that most people are trying to squeeze out of Nintendo at this point that hasn't been released is whether it has a touchscreen or not.
Oh yeah.
No confirmation of whether it has one or not, and there's assumption that it should have one,
Should.
but
Should.
they haven't confirmed that it does. And
If it doesn't, that means the price point on this machine is going to go down, and that's a good thing. But if it has a
good thing
touchscreen,
and an interesting thing because of the
Yes.
DS point.
oh yeah, it's true. And if it does have a touchscreen, because the DS has only ever been resistive, and so my question would be: would this be a capacitive touchscreen, and would developers be given API access to go ahead and utilize that touchscreen function? Does this mean we would get Flappy Bird on the Switch? I don't know.
Good question.
I don't know if I want it to do that, though, personally, just because I think that I don't want this to be another mobile gaming platform. I want this to be that thing that I play Legend of Zelda Call of the Wild on, or Breath of the Wild,
Right.
sorry. And Smash, and Skyrim, and, games, like actual fun games. Not to say that mobile games aren't games, but I don't know if that's the direction that we're supposed to be going with this console.
Saying my thoughts.
Call me a purist. Maybe I just like having one device that does one thing. But personally, I would like to see if it didn't, Nintendo having very strict design standards for how that ends up working.
Yeah, that'd definitely be interesting.
I think we've already touched on it. The biggest concern for us right now is battery life or power. Because we could have amazing battery life, but if it doesn't have the power and we start seeing frame skips on more graphic-intensive titles,
Yeah, is there going to be limitations on what you can play while on battery?
or heat, dear goodness. I mean, if I'm, gaming for 2-3 hours at a time, is my tablet going to get uncomfortably warm?
Can I bake an egg on it?
Maybe it's just because we're this close to Samsung's, Galaxy S7 snafu, but it's a concern.
Right.
This obviously is thin enough where it has no active cooling system. These are all questions that will hopefully be answered very shortly because we're running out of time for this to have a March 2017 launch.
Yeah.
But we have functional prototypes. At least we have visible prototypes.
Right.
I don't think anybody's ever actually played with one outside of the trailers. That being said, we still have something, which is better than nothing. And
all right, I'm gonna keep pointing out. Careful of the hype bike.
careful of the hype bike. I also Nintendo is different. They have,
They still can succumb to the problems.
they can, but they haven't yet, and they don't have a reason to now.
Everyone will eventually.
That's nihilistic.
Absolutely.
Fair enough. I mean, you acknowledged it. There's not much I can do about that about it at that point.
Stick and bike wheel.
Stick and bike wheel.
Bike wheel. Man falls down. Rip. Nintendo.
Name drops. Name drops.
So, moving on, the Planet Coaster beta has got some more information here.
No, really. No.
Those who pre-ordered the game on the Frontier store before it was put on Steam, as well as those who have pre-ordered the Thrill Seeker edition on Steam, you'll be able to get access to the beta starting on November 9th. Those who already have alpha access, of course, will continue to have alpha access and get beta access at the same time everyone else does. And it'll run through the game's release on 17th.
So, Andy, question: are you currently in beta access for this game right now?
Well, I am.
Oh, really? What has been what is the big changes moving from alpha into beta?
I haven't really seen yet because the beta hasn't started, but I'm hoping that it's mainly the more finishing of content. A lot of things that I played with and a lot of things that I built weren't fully finished yet, so like you had only so many options for doing things, and that made it a little weird to play. But it was definitely functional for the alpha sake, but you could definitely tell it was an alpha because of the different functions that didn't exist yet.
Right.
So I'm hoping that it's much more of what a beta should be, where it's much more finished and mainly the just a matter of finding bugs and whatnot over the beta period.
So you would say they've got a framework, like an engine that works, and a foundational framework that works. Yeah. Now it's just all the fit and finish.
Is very sound. It is very firm, and there doesn't seem to be a lot of problems when it comes to that. It's just a matter of getting features finished.
It's the spit and polish of it all, really.
Yep.
Gotcha.
That's what my view of it was.
I see that.
So, which is always good when we have big, lofty games like this that bring a lot of functionality.
You think there'll be a Nintendo Switch version of it?
Guess no, but maybe.
I
mean,
I think it would be kind of cool.
It'd be interesting. It's hard to play with a controller, I imagine.
Right. I wonder if you could.
You need a mouse and keyboard or a finger.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, if it's got a touchscreen, it probably would work. But that's always a variable.
Right.
Thing. So another thing here, not that it matters. There's a voice chat that's finally in BattleNet.
That's cool.
Woo!
Or the thing that used to be called BattleNet that doesn't have a name.
Is it still yet to be unnamed?
Is this?
I don't know.
It's still BattleNet until they rename it, right?
I don't really know. I mean, it's still BattleNet to everyone.
I don't like that's. I hate that. But whatever.
I agree.
I have a feeling this is already been touched on a podcast that I might not have been here for. So.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did.
Yeah, we talked about that. You probably wondered. I just passed a tree that kind of looked like a broccoli.
Oh, you're right. It does kind of look a little green.
Yeah.
Hey, you wanna slow down?
I hope so.
Tree branch. The tree branches.
The tree branches.
Green.
Yeah. Andy, you want to slow down just a little bit?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we talked about this a little bit in our pre-chat, and with the advent of Discord and even people who used to use Skype and some of the other things.
Well, Ventrilo, Mumble,
yeah, exactly. There's so many of the replacement chat systems and whatnot out there. Is there really even a place for this kind of thing anymore? Like Steam has a voice chat in it now. BattleNet has a voice chat. Do I need one? I kind of already talked to people on an existing platform. Everyone I know, I talk to on Discord.
But the platform isn't dedicated to gaming necessarily. Like, you can use Vent, Mumble, Discord, or
TeamSpeak.
We're talking about Slack might be coming up and coming on this.
Sure.
TeamSpeak or Skype, and you can talk to people just to talk to them and then happen to be playing a game. I don't have to have I play games on Steam, Origin, BattleNet, probably some other launchers I can't think off the top of my head.
Uplay.
Yeah, Uplay. So for me to be playing a game on Steam or talking to people through BattleNet is weird.
Right.
Or me to be playing a game on BattleNet and talking to it through Steam is weird.
Yep.
I'd rather have a general, like, we all meet up in this, which right now we're in Discord, which has been fantastic. So I'd rather meet up in a general one, and then we all do our own thing, or we do it together. The only way that I see BattleNet's voice system being useful is if you can talk in the games to people who you don't necessarily know. I.e., if I join a random 20-man raid in WoW, it'd be kind of cool to be able to talk with that group. To have an open comm channel of some kind. But I understand why they may not, because it's still too spammy. Like, I feel like it would be too problematic. It would be the same problem we deal with Xbox Live 12-year-olds.
Right.
And they probably want to avoid that. But that's the only real reason to have this system now. Right. To have a voice system in your game is so that people can talk with each other, talk to the enemy team, coordinate, or troll.
Yeah, not much other purpose for it than that in a multiplayer game.
I will agree. I think the one benefit that I could see out of this, just from a project perspective, is that this does mean that the developers are actively trying out new things. They're actively developing the system, and that can only pave the way for more and better code.
I agree with that. I do agree with that on a dev side of that, but they've already shown they're doing that with just making the streaming capabilities of Battle.net, which everyone else is pulling off of. Like Battle.net having the ability to stream your games to Facebook has now caused Origin to be taking a look at this, as well as Steam to be taking a look at this, to like not just allow it, but to make it a primary function of their platform.
Really?
Right.
I did not even know that was a thing. That's actually really fascinating.
So like they're already ahead of the game on that in that regards, and they're doing a really good job with it. But I just don't see. I feel like they went the wrong order. They should have done the voice chat, and then bam, now you can stream to Facebook or whatever. But like they did it the other way, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just don't. I guess it kind of works if I ever added. The only time this is going to be really useful is if I added somebody on Battle.net and I wanted to talk to them, but I didn't want to give away Discord info.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that being that's a very niche case.
Yeah, quick one-off communication that you want
Just to see if this person is somebody that I would add to the Discord.
Right.
Almost as a preliminary. Which is fair and totally understandable, but again, that's
That would be like your raid party or some rando that you met on the way. Like, but it's not a long-term solution at that point.
Right.
No, yeah, again, yeah, it has to be something that's implemented in the games amongst the people playing the games. Whether it's in groups, teams, or just in matches, they should have the ability to talk amongst each other without having them previously added on a contact group.
Definitely agree.
Yep.
Definitely agree. And I will happily continue to use Discord rather than that.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of other people will agree that Discord is the way to go.
Yep.
But, so, in an area that I'm sure people do not necessarily agree on, the whole NVIDIA versus AMD battle. There's some rumors out there that the AMD people might be releasing a Radeon RX 465 to complement their 470 and 460 line in order to compete better with the GTX 1050 card that just came out. And also the 1070 and 1060 themselves got a little bit of a price drop for probably the same exact reason. So we're seeing some competition for once.
Competition of the markets, man, can only be better.
Right, which is it's unusual because generally NVIDIA has unfortunately been that much ahead that they really couldn't compete, or they couldn't effectively compete, and so now we're actually seeing cards that make people battle.
Until AMD returns to ATI graphics, I don't think it's ever going to matter.
It's not going to be a good war.
No, this is like the 24-hour war. Like it doesn't matter. Because I'm not one to I use AMD chipsets. I have used them for 10 years. I used AMD graphics for the past 9 of those 10 years until this year, where I picked up an NVIDIA card. The reason I picked up an NVIDIA card is because what I loved about ATI has died with AMD, in my opinion. AMD taking over the ATI Technologies graphics card has slowly but surely degraded it over time. Even a card that I liked and even cards I thought were great, my 970X, did not show peak performance after only about 2 years. That's not something that can be acceptable at a price range of a high-range graphics card.
Yeah, that's like low to mid graphics pricing there that you expect. 2 years.
Right.
Is
2 years is nothing
for a high-end card.
Exactly. So I feel that, and that's part of it, is like I paid pretty penny, like for what would be an AMD/ATI card. I paid $360 for my graphics card. It lasted me 2 years. It's gone. Why did I pay that much money for that when I could pay $700, get a 1080, and it lasts me 5 years.
Yep. And from previous data shows that definitely should last.
5 years. Right. Now, is it going to run everything perfectly in 5 years? No.
But
It
you
shouldn't,
didn't expect
for all
that your
intents and
old
purposes.
graphics card could do that either.
Right. But I mean, it shouldn't be crashing my system after 2 years.
Yeah. Definitely should
So-
not do that.
So, for me, and something that they've speculated with AMD, because they are losing money in the graphics market, is they've talked and had considerations of going back and going, okay, we want to release this as AT. We want to split the divisions. We want to recreate ATI and let them do their thing as a subsidiary of AMD. If they do that, I think we can see a war. If they don't, it will only be a battle that will be lost for.
Yep. Oh, and then it might even really kind of stem up a good Intel war too, if they're able to then devote more time and attention to
Their CPUs for
their
that team.
CPUs.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I still like their CPUs. I think their CPUs are fine. I don't... You don't really need in my opinion, for gaming, you don't really need the top-of-the-line CPU. If you're doing video editing or software development or anything that requires like that large buffer, like where you actually need your CPU to actually be that i7, that octa-core.
Right.
That's fair. But if you're playing video games, you're running video games, Discord, Reddit, you don't really need that much power in that. So
Not
I
a
think
lot of
that,
multi-threaded stuff going on.
No, yeah, I don't think you necessarily need like the highest CPU, and that's why I think AMD CPUs do compete in the gaming market. But they do need to start competing in other markets as well.
Right. And that's where their new chipsets that are coming out
Are supposed
are
to.
starting to kind of bridge. But they do make a pretty darn good heater.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
Survive
can't afford
Pennsylvania.
heat, if it's heat or a computer,
You can get both.
the way to go.
Yeah, get both.
So a little fun thing here. It's the 3rd year anniversary of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Has it really been 3 years already?
3 years already. Yep.
Man.
Well, I mean, it only came out for the PC like a year and a half ago. So.
Oh, that's awkward.
Yep.
And
And the next gen consoles too, yeah, only a little longer than that, 2 years ago, I think. But anyone who logs on to GTA Online between pretty much now and October 31st, you're gonna get yourself a cool or a hot, all depends, I guess, $250,000.
Half of a quarter of a?
No, a quarter.
Okay, so straight 250K.
A straight 250K.
I dig that.
Pretty good way to. That's a house.
Yeah?
House.
Is that how you could, can you kickstart your motorcycle gang with that 250K?
You probably could.
Probably can, yeah.
So that's definitely something you want to do, even if you don't play too much. Probably just log in, get it, and then leave. You'll have it for a rainy day.
But someone jacked my account, and they won't give it back.
That's unfortunate.
Yep, don't know what to tell you there.
This is actually serious. That actually happened.
That's quite the bombshell.
And it is now time to end. Thank you very much for watching this episode of the American Truck Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that like button. Perhaps also hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment down below, and we will see you in the next one.